Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Al-Quran al-Durrah. We continue reading from Surah Al-Rum, the Romans, and in the last session we have dealt with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the sustainer, as the provider, as the creator and provider for his creation, and that out of this sustenance one has to provide, whether it's zakah or alms giving or beyond that. To here it mentions the relatives, it mentions the poor, the poor in the sense of living in abject poverty, having nothing, and the wayfarer, the traveler who does not have any resources, and that this is really the path, that this is good for those who seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, success in the hereafter, and of course it does not exclude success in this life. Typically we talk about najah, two words for success. Najah is usually for this dunya, for this life, and falah is for the hereafter. And we spoke about the notion of riba and the many meanings. Riba, there are riba, usury. Sometimes they talk about interest in banks. The language deliberately avoids any religious connotation, so usury becomes interest. Adultery becomes extramarital affair. Gambling becomes gaming. Marijuana in particular becomes recreational drug. So the language is deliberate, the change in the language, how it is described. Now we talk about, we go on in our reading. أعوذ بالله السميع من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله الذي خلقكم ثم رزقكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم هل من شركائكم من يفعل من ذلكم من شيء سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون. It is Allah who created you, then gives you provisions, and will cause you to die, and then will bring you back to life, be resurrected on the day of resurrection. Can any of your associate gods do any of this? It's a rhetorical question. Of course, the answer is obviously no. So we said this before. These gods are simply pieces of stone or wood or iron, copper, whatever. They are good for nothing. One might say, waste of resources. Glorified and exalted is He above what they associate with Him in worship. Corruption. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون. Corruption has spread on land and sea as a result of what people's hands have done, so that Allah may cause them to taste some of their deeds, the consequences of some of their deeds, and perhaps they might return to the right path. Corruption appearing, spreading on land and sea as a result of what people do, meaning as a result of the sins. We have several meanings of this corruption. The land and sea, land is land. Sea here, some scholars said that it's really about the um, islands, for example, that are in the sea. Uh, I would say that in the sea today, it's clear. Uh, there is a you have all these massive uh, cruise ships, almost like a town moving on water, and you will find gambling casinos inside these uh, cruise ships. There's in Cincinnati, in Ohio, in the United States, there's a river that wiggles into two states, and there are smaller ships there. Well, we cannot have basically cruise ships in the river, but these the smaller ships, boats, if you will, do have gambling casinos because of the illegal. Um, it is illegal to play or to gamble uh, in one of the states. And ظهر فساد في البر والبحر. It came to my mind also in the air. What kind of corruption in the air? Again, I have been once in an aeroplane where the arm set of your seat has you can slide your credit card and gamble, literally. And there are flights. There were flights in that people take in countries where it is prohibited to gamble. Uh, in Israel, it is illegal to gamble. So people would take flights once they are in international space. They gamble, and then the airplane would simply make a U-turn and land later on. And this is why they created a gambling casino in Jericho, which really this is Area A, falling under the jurisdiction of the Palestinian Authority, where Palestinian nationals cannot gamble, but those with Israeli citizenship can. Who said that you can destroy um the life of because Palestinians? That's there are Palestinians who are Christians, there are Palestinians who are Muslims. Who said that because of nationalism and the occupation, you can destroy the life of Jewish families? That which is prohibited is prohibited. Um, and there are those who give. I'm aware of one Friday sermon that addressed, at least one that addressed the issue of gambling in Jericho. The head of the nuclear family, part of the qawama, part of the responsibility of the husband is to provide halal income for the family, wholesome halal income. The head of the large family, the society at large, the country, the state, has the same responsibility. The income, the economy has to be halal. Other meanings of ظهر الفساد, the spread of corruption, uh, the no rain, drought, and in the sea, it's when the animals themselves uh, having, I would translate liberally here, uh, suffering from the the marine life, suffers from diseases. That's my translation. Other meanings, mujahid. We talk about second generation tabi'in. Muslim scholar said about the spread of corruption on land and sea. He said, on land, it's the killing of the son of Adam. So the Cain and Abel story, and then the sea, it is confiscating the ship, as this is alluding to the story in Surah Al-Kahf. If it is really piracy, one way or the other, we still have it. We have piracy. For example, people might be surprised that there are pirates in the Strait of Malaga between Malaysia and Indonesia. And that's not the only place. Killing the son of Adam, just some thought about this idea. You know very well that in the Quran, uh, with a cross reference to the Torah, not that that there is an author, a human author of the Quran, who picked up the, the this position from the Torah revelation. Sisal, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala decreed in the Torah that whoever uh, a soul, of course, unjustly, it's as if he killed all humanity, and whoever saves a soul, it's as if he saved all humanity. This is in the Quran. So if killing the son of Adam is the spread of corruption, of course, once you begin a certain phenomenon, it might not end, and we see you talk about genocides, you talk about World War One, World War Two, tens of millions of people who got killed, and we are witnessing a genocide today in Gaza, heartbreaking. There are ethics of war that have been violated. The Quran and the Sunnah are very clear about this. And I would simply mention in this context a contemporary Syrian scholar whose name is Jawdat Said. And by the way, his village is on the eastern slopes of the Golan Heights. Allahu Alam if his village is suffered from the recent attacks, and as Israel occupies other parts of Syria, southern Syria, cutting off some of these villages, building military installations, so making sure that conflict would go on. It's a very sad story. So Jawda Said wrote a book, Madhab Ibn Adam al-Awwal, the the way, the methodology, the path of the first son of Adam, or the killer here. And he argues from uh, within the Islamic worldview against such killing, because the this is really the madhab, really is the madhab of the killed. Sorry, because he in the Quran, he told his brother, after his brother made his intention that he was going to kill him, he told him, if you extend your hand to kill me, I'm not going to extend my hand to kill you. That's a non-violent position. So for those who would like to explore the theology of non-violence from an Islamic point of view, this is the right book to introduce the topic. I'm not endorsing everything in the book. The There is the interpretation of spreading the corruption on land and sea as a result of what uh, people's hands have done, like what they have, the sins that they have committed. One meaning is that lack of, or at least uh, less fruits, less the season, the agriculture season would not be good because of sins. And it has been said, whoever commits sin on earth, he causes corruption on earth, because the good of the earth and the sky is with obedience, with heaven really. And this is here there's the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, narrated by Abu Dawud, that لحد يقام في الأرض أحب إلى أهلها من يمطر 40 صباحا. People might not understand the meaning of applying the law, punishing someone who crosses the line and commits one of these sins, grave sins in Islam, where a specific punishment is stipulated. So fulfilling such upholding the law, if you will, on earth is better for the people on earth, better than being rained for 40 mornings for 40 days. Though people love rain, the water, the animals, the for agrarian reasons, and the reason for this is that once a punishment is implemented, people would refrain from committing sin. Maybe not in the absolute sense, but you will not find sin being widely spread, especially in societies now that really the law does not punish at all, whether it's gambling, usury, drugs, prostitution. Many countries have basically no laws. Adultery. So once they stop as a society, at large, that would be the reason for having uh, the the blessings uh, from the sky and from the earth. Yes, and this blessing is by fulfilling the Sharia of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam وما ذاك إلا ببركة تنفيذ شريعة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. That's in the تفسير ابن كثير. فكلما أقيم العدل كثرت البركات الخير. When you have justice as the social contract, this state is based on justice, then many blessings and goodness and will be availed to that society. And it has been established in the compendium of hadith of both Al-Bukhari and Muslim that the sinner, if he once he dies, there will be of course, if somebody who a sinner who caused corruption, and not only human beings will be relieved, يستريح منه العباد والبلاد والشجر والدواب. The land, the trees, the animals will be relieved. It seems that the whole environment will suffer from this sin of such a person. Yes. قل سيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبل كان أكثرهم مشركين. Say, addressing Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, say, travel throughout the land and see what was the end of those before you, meaning those who suffered from punishment, those who were destroyed before you. Most of them were polytheists, and that's the sin that is unforgivable. That's the only sin that is unforgivable unless one changes course and reverts to Islam, becomes Muslim. Polytheism, idol worshipping, and just one might dismiss, one might say, I don't worship idols. If you have a statue of whatever that statue is, that is revered in your culture, in your religion, then that's really polytheism. فأقم وجهك للدين القيم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا مرد له من الله يومئذ يصدعون. So be steadfast in the upright faith. Telling the Prophet ﷺ, the upright faith before the coming of a day from Allah that cannot be averted. On that day the people will be divided. Those who disbelieve, so talk about the two major divisions here. Those who disbelieve will bear the burden of their own disbelief. من كفر فعليه كفره ومن عمل صالحا فلأنفسهم يمهدون. And those who did good, of course, being believers, that's the cornerstone, believing in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the messengership of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which means automatically the messengership, the prophethood of all the names that we have in the Quran, 25 names, plus because the Quran also says that there are messengers that we did not narrate their story to you, to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and basically effectively to us, and to believe in all the articles of faith. But the cornerstone is believing in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So either one will be remain a disbeliever or becomes a believer doing good. And those who did good will have prepared for themselves. Of course, it means they prepared for themselves the eternal homes, the eternal abode, the paradise, inshallah. ليجزي الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات من فضله إنه لا يحب الكافرين. So that he may, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reward those who believe, of course, generously, and those who do believe and do good. آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. belief and good deeds go hand in hand. Out of His grace, min fadlih, He truly does not like the disbelievers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like the disbelievers. إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْكَافِرِينَ. In the next verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in fact, we talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending winds with rain, and of course the wind will move the ships, when they spread their sails, and with verses in this context um, providing details about the clouds, the lightning, and how the earth is quickened, how it comes to life after a period of no rain, alluding, of course, that we also will be quickened, will also be resurrected. But the details of this and reading these verses, inshallah, will postpone until the next session. Until then, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.